Welcome, everybody, to this week's edition of the Wampaslayer video podcast, I guess we can say.
Wampaslayer Live!
It's Wampaslayer Live. My name is Chris.
I need to make sure to look at the camera. I'm Dave. You can see it right here.
And I'm Nate.
No, it's right here.
Look at that.
It says Chris.
Upgrading our graphics.
At AceRight4. That's Nate, and that's Dave. Thank you for joining us. We are Facebook Live, as we're doing every Sunday now. Every Sunday, 8 o'clock.
Yep, hooked up to the hard line. I got a green bar. We should not have any weird lag issues like last week.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Yep.
I had to say it. So we wanted to, #upgrades, we wanted to talk about game shows. We didn't talk about this on the podcast. This is a little extra. This is why you got to listen to the podcast to get all your latest nerd news. And then you can come and talk with us. We're talking about game shows with the reimagining of the match game and the reimagining of the Gong Show. And, I mean, there's the $25,000 pyramid.
Does anybody know what the name of that host is supposed to be?
It's
Nigel something?
Yeah, I can't. I couldn't tell you. But the Gong Show has Mike Myers dressed in full bodysuit makeup as this British guy. And if you want to see that character, he was on the late
Yeah, it was Jimmy Fallon's show.
No, Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy Kimmel's show.
Jimmy Kimmel's
So
show.
that's the Late Show, right?
No, that's Colbert. Right?
I got nothing for you.
Later.
It's Jimmy Kimmel's show.
Yeah, so he was with Jimmy Kimmel.
Well, but Will Arnett was guest hosting.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And Will Arnett is executive producing. But we wanted to ask the question, what competition or game show would you like to have been on? And this is when Dave has to switch the graphics.
Look at that transition. Smooth 800 millisecond fade.
And we're going to start with Nate.
Well, my first choice, because it's a show that I still watch and I'm a big fan of, is Survivor. Like, I would love to go on Survivor. I feel like the survival part of it, I would be okay with. The being away from my family and friends for 30 days, I could probably handle. Like, whatever.
What happens when the producer starts poking you with a stick?
Well, I feel like the hardest part for me on that show would be just people dicking you over all the time.
Yeah.
You know, and you having to do the same thing and not, take it personally. I mean, you just have to know that it's a show. But I don't know. If nothing else, it's a free trip to some beautiful, tropical location. Even if you're only there for the first week, you still end up staying there for the whole 39 days of the show, just off-site. They can't send you home because then you know who won.
Right.
So I don't know. I feel like it would be an awesome adventure.
So no matter what, you would be gone for 30 days?
39 days, yep. It's called the Ponderosa, is where the main crew lives. It's like a base camp far away from the shooting location. And every time somebody gets voted off, they go live at the Ponderosa.
And is it like a 5-star resort?
No, I think it's like a tent city, basically.
Oh, really?
Yep. Tents and trailers, that kind of, temporary shelters. But they actually did a video, an online video, Life at the Ponderosa thing. That was kind of cool.
Yeah. Dave.
Life of the Omarosa. I don't know. I feel like I don't watch that many game shows, but I feel like I could take Guys Grocery Games because they do not. And you got these people running around and they don't even know. It's like they never set foot in a grocery store in their life.
I don't know that one. What is it?
So there was I can't remember the old show was. Shop till you drive, something like that.
Supermarket Sweep.
Supermarket Sweep.
Oh, that's actually on my list. Okay.
Well, there's part of that. The other part is basically he gives them things that that you have to create. So, your best home cooked or what best represents where you come from or something like that, and that's the meal you have to cook. And you have to shop. You get 30 seconds to shop, but a lot of times you can only shop in. He'll spin this board, and you can only shop in aisle 2 and 5. Or you have to make a wait, or you only get $20 or something like that, and you have to shop it out and all the kind of stuff.
You only get 30 seconds to do your shopping?
No, I think you get 2 minutes to shop,
and
then 30 minutes to create your dish and stuff like that. But yeah,
that's cool.
You could do that, especially, and then they do the cart swap at the end, where there might not be any if there's no change in the game up to the point to where they get back to their cooking stations, then you know that they're going to make them swap cards. So everything you just picked out, that person now gets. But I feel like I could take that on. The other one is, see, I'm cleverly hidden behind this nice banner that shows our question. So you can't see the bottom half of my body. But if you imagined the bottom half of my body super in shape, which I encourage you to do, I think that Ninja Warrior would be super fun, or like the Beast. That would be a lot of cool.
I feel like I
Yeah.
want to run the Ninja Warrior course just one time.
Yeah.
Maybe like a couple seasons ago, because
it ramps up every season.
every single season.
That warped wall is what, 30 feet tall or whatever
It
now.
is and when you watch old Ninja Warrior, it's like, wow, they could probably run through this course, and now it's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Every single season it gets bigger and bigger, except for Stephen Amell. He just tore that thing up.
Well, yeah, because now it's not about how fast you can get through it. It's, are you going to get through it?
Yeah. The Beast was cool.
Oh,
Watch The Beast on Netflix.
Yeah. You had another one?
Oh, if I go back a ways, Nick Arcade is just a show as a kid I always wanted to be on. And not as a contestant, but I think the one I'd most want to be in the audience for is Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Oh my gosh.
Back when Drew Carey did it, when they had the classic cast,
the full setup.
that would be my number one to be in the audience and watch.
I would have to say mine is Pressure Luck, because it was the pattern, or there was a pattern. There were only 4 or 5 patterns, and that one guy actually got it and ended up winning $100,000. And it's a great documentary about it.
Yeah.
But now the new one has thousands of patterns and 50 different squares. I loved Pressure Luck. We got Mike from Wampaslayer. He wants to be on Jeopardy because he thinks he's that smart.
I feel like that he'd be one for that game. I don't know. Like when I look at Jeopardy and I answer some of those questions right, you feel really cool. We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Go.
But I feel like Jeopardy, man, I don't think I could. There's no way I would ever handle up in that thing. Maybe some of the themed ones, but
Well, and I feel like I answer a lot correct when I'm playing at home, but I also answer a lot incorrect. And if I were buzzing in all those
Every
and
single
getting
one.
negative points,
now
I wouldn't end up going.
if
anywhere.
all of the questions were Dungeons and Dragons Rules 3.5 to 5th edition, I mean, I'd school some people. But
Well, and I watched Sports Jeopardy on NBC Sports Network, and I
isn't that on Crackle now?
it was on Crackle.
Oh, they moved it
and
over.
then they got it on NBC
Nice.
Sports. But I riggedy wrecked at Sports Jeopardy.
Whoops.
Nick Arcade. Oh, we have
Fix the microphone.
a guest. That's a cat.
Thanks, Ken, for commenting on my shirt. I just want to say shout out to my former student Lily. Bought me this shirt as an end of the year present. Gryffindor.
All right.
Okay.
Let's see. Sean says global guts, and you know what? To play for, to compete for your country, a global guts. It probably would have been a lot of fun.
That's another thing, kind of like Ninja Warrior. I don't even want to compete. I just want to go play on the aggro crag.
Yeah.
And Legends of the Hidden Temple. I just want to go play in the Hidden Temple.
Play
I don't
on
want to
the-
compete.
Now,
Play on the aggro crag, but make sure that they're just shooting out that.
but speaking of Legend of the Hidden Temple, how scary does it have to be? So you're running around, your adrenaline's pumping, you're trying to find the pendants, and a temple guard who is probably 2 feet taller than you just comes out, grabs you, and takes you away. I was watching that, and I just, oh man, that was ridiculous. Any other ones?
From me,
If you didn't know, Nate's big into game shows.
I love game shows, especially like old game shows. Modern stuff, Amazing Race. I would love to do Amazing Race with my mom. That would be fantastic. The Mole, while it was on TV, I thought was a great show.
I only watched
was a
the
lot of
first
fun.
season, but the first season was really good.
Yeah. American Gladiator is kind of the same thing as Ninja Warrior, just to go play with,
No, then you
play
get
some
shot
of those
with
things.
Nerf people and all that.
Yeah, there'd be a lot of fun things there.
Um,
Wheel of Fortune,
Yeah.
that's a great one. A classic, you know. Same with Price is Right. Just be there, you know.
Oh man! So I actually got a chance. I played Price is Right live at Windsor at
Oh,
Caesars.
really?
Yeah, and it was all right.
Were you called up to the front
no,
and everything? Oh,
no,
okay.
no. It was 3,000 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
A girl I went to high school with a couple years ago was on Price is Right and got called down.
Oh really?
Yeah. That was
Now I heard I was reading an article about winning on game shows. Like people win on Price is Right, and you're winning $30,000 or $40,000 in prizes. And before they give you those prizes after the show, they say you owe us X amount of money for taxes, and you will not get it until you pay that tax money up front. And so I feel like that's kind of shady.
I agree. Like, I feel on all those shows where you win like a car, that was always my thought was, well, I mean, that's a lot of money, but if I got the car, could resell it, use some of the money to pay off the taxes, and still end up with a positive sum of money, that would work. But yeah, if they make you give it up front, then...
Another one for me is Cash Cab.
oh,
Cash cab would
Yeah.
be cool.
Yeah. I mean, some of the questions are ridiculous, but I feel like a lot of the questions I felt were easy. And I think I could play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and I could probably get to about $32,000.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, multiple choice should always be a lot more easy.
Right. And I mean, when I was watching Millionaire, I was what, 12 when it first came on. So
I mean, and it's resource management. You just got to manage those lifelines.
yes.
yeah.
Because people are using them all up in that first round, and then, you got nothing.
Well, I remember the first Millionaire. He had his phone a friend left
Yeah.
when he got to the $1 million question, and he calls his dad and he goes, "Dad, I just wanted to call you to say I'm about to win $1 million."
Yeah. I would love to go, and it would be a duo. You'd have to do the voiceover for me, but I would love to go on Most Extreme Elimination Challenge and have you dub everything for me. Because that was one of the... Man, on Spike TV, I used to love watching that show. It was so fun. Did you ever watch that?
Yeah.
Oh, that was such a funny one.
I can't with Guy Ledouche.
Yep.
It was funny. I was talking with my cousin's wife one time, and I just said Guy Ledouche, and it sent her on a YouTube spiral of all of these Most Extreme Elimination challenges. Yes, let's get eliminated. No, don't get eliminated. That's the slogan. Is don't get eliminated. But if you enjoy our conversation, or if you're not, we have a separate way that you can enjoy our conversation. Wampaslayer Podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play. However,
This week, we're going to put it on YouTube as well.
and on YouTube.
So,
Give us a subscription. That's youtube.com/Wampaslayer, I think.
no, it's not. Sorry. Just search for Wampaslayer on YouTube.
Oh, jeez. And our podcast will be available.
All right, first of all, I definitely do appreciate, and I think I could slay on MasterChef right up until he gives me some piece of fish, and then I'm just gonna tank.
You can't cook fish?
I probably could cook fish just fine. I just don't like fish, so like it always comes down. That's why I didn't say chopped. It's like chopped. I think I could do very well in chopped, but like when they go to give you, like, I watched a recent episode of Chopped, and it's gotten out of hand now. They're like, we have some crushed old cookies, 2 pennies, a steak, and you have to make a meal. I'm like, this is ridiculous. But yeah, RuPaul's Drag Race, that's a good one.
Yeah. I was going to mention RuPaul's Drag Race, but
I do feel like, too, because it is Father's Day, we need to give a special shout-out to our dads. Happy Father's Day, everybody.
yes, Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day. I mean, mine's in Alaska, so
Yeah.
on a nice cruise.
Mine's at home. But we have at least one dad watching.
Nice.
Yes.
Happy Father's Day,
Yes.
Sean.
Yeah. It's a beautiful picture of your daughter standing on your face.
Earlier today. Evan says Ninja Warrior.
See, now here's my other spot. If you take me but replace everything like that looks like Evan, then yes, I feel like that would win.
So if Evan was on Ninja Warrior,
Yeah.
he could do it.
But also I win too. I don't know why.
Do you think they would let Wampaslayer do a Family Feud team? Like we're not really related, but just
You know,
the Wampaslayers.
I would not want to. I would not want. Oh, there's two dads. Look at that, Bob
Oh,
Compton.
Bob
on.
Compton on the podcast.
We didn't even see your name pop up. Usually it says this person joined, and it didn't say that you joined. But
Nice.
Happy Father's Day.
So, what game show do you want to be on, Dad?
But I don't like today's modern Family Feud because I
Really?
feel it's too staged.
But it does
Yeah.
get some of the greatest. Steve Harvey's
But that's the
reaction
thing, is that
to the
it's
face is
staged.
so amazing.
It's staged to get people's reactions
And-
to put it on
yeah.
YouTube.
Like, I feel like if I had to look, it probably is staged for the players. Like, they feel like they just throw Steve Harvey in there. And
Right.
he just has to experience the dumbest things people say.
It is very contrived, and because he's like, "Oh, I can't believe you said that." It's like that's like the first thing that would pop into 80% of people's.
Mama.
Yeah, yeah. So some of them are pretty funny though. Do you ever see the one where the guy didn't actually hit the buzzer? He just like smacked his hand on the table and he shouted out an answer, and the girl just like hit the buzzer and he's like, "What?" And they're like, "You got to hit the button."
To tell the truth, Bob Compton, that is a great show. I love the black and white old To Tell the Truth. When Game Show Network actually played old game shows, not trying to get new game shows going.
Is there
Tell
still
the
a
Truth
Game
was
Show
a great
Network?
one.
Yeah, there's still Game Show
Oh,
Network.
right.
They play a lot of cheesy games.
Yeah.
I mean, they did have good originals. Lingo, Chain Reaction is a good one, but now they're trying to be like too hip.
Didn't the Pyramid come back?
Yes,
Or is it coming back?
$100,000 pyramid.
Yeah.
What was the show where the wall came at you and you had to get in a certain shape?
I don't know. What
Otherwise-
Hole in the Wall. I think it
Was
was
it just called
yeah.
Hole in the Wall? That was kind of a goofy one. That always made me
Yeah.
laugh.
I haven't been able to watch an episode, but the Beat Shazam game I hear is not good.
I wouldn't imagine that it's great.
Hosted by Jamie Foxx, though, but apparently it's not.
Jamie Foxx needs a sandwich. So just give it.
I always think of the How I Met Your Mother episode where they're playing or they have the game show Heads or
Heads or
Tails.
Tails.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's about where we're heading with game show. Is
Yep.
just watching somebody flip a coin.
Sean Falkenberg, he's a no whammy guy. What's the name of that?
Press your luck.
Press your luck. Okay. I'm not good at this.
Bridget, feel like I'd be good at Jeopardy and that new Shazam show. See, I actually sent in an application to be on the Beat Shazam show, and I didn't get a call back.
What kind of game show is it? Trivia?
It's a name that tune.
Okay.
So they play a song, and you got to beat Shazam.
So it is just named.
Oh,
that, too.
see, I did not know that. I thought that it was you had to perform and try to see if Shazam picks it up as the real song. Now, see, if they would have asked me, that would have been a cooler show. To watch people try to like keep up. It's like Rock Band but live.
Yeah.
Like that'd be really, really cool. Now, I didn't know it was just that. But
Yeah, I had a teacher in middle school who really wanted to be on Jeopardy and would like sit down every week, write down every question that was asked, and fill out the application once. But she said they asked like questions like, "Do you know what this word is in Swahili?" And like just the most random stuff on their application to get on the show.
I actually got pretty far in the children's Jeopardy when I was in 6th grade, and this was before online tests. I went to Chicago and did a group of maybe like 50 kids, and they just ask you Jeopardy questions,
Oh, really?
and you just had to write them down. I didn't get past that, but I had a fun weekend in Chicago. That was Disney Quest, and
lip sync battle would be really cool.
well, yeah.
I mean, that is a celebrity show, but
Yeah.
I just actually watched the clip, and I think it's old, but it was Zendaya versus
Tom
Tom
Holland,
Holland.
yeah.
And she was Bruno Mars, and he was Rihanna.
Yeah.
And it was so cool. But some of that show is a little bit, like, I
Well,
don't really care.
when they first started it with The Rock and Jimmy Fallon, they were just out there doing it, but now they've gotten so much bigger.
When it was when it was, like, the spectacle is cool, but when it was just the Stephen Merchant on the Jimmy Fallon show,
Oh, my goodness.
was hilarious on the Tonight Show.
Yeah.
But like when it was like you have to just walk up there in the clothes that you have, and a song's gonna start play, and you just go. That was so much more funny to me watching Melissa McCarthy just rolling on the ground singing along. Then like they go so over the top now.
Yeah.
Um,
I think my favorite was Joseph Gordon-Levitt doing Tiny Dancer. That was on the Tonight Show though.
Yep.
Let's see. What else? You got another game show?
Another game show. Double Dare was
Yeah.
always one as a kid
I
that
love
I
Double
that I
Dare.
wanted to go on.
Finders Keepers. Finders Keep. I watched so much Nickelodeon Games and Sports, the Nickelodeon Gas channel. I watched it so much. Finders Keepers, Guts, Wild and Crazy Kids.
Yep. What Wild and Crazy Kids.
That was fantastic. And just any of those old Nickelodeon game shows.
Yeah.
But you know what's so funny was they rarely played Nick Arcade to the point where it was like a appointment television when Nick Arcade
Really?
was going to be on TV.
Yeah, Nick Arcade was so cool. But watching it, man, those were bad graphics.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but it was so cool. You're like, they're in the video game.
What was the-
and when they're just swiping at nothing, it's just a green screen.
What was the game where you sat like with a? It might have been Match Game. No, it's not Match Game. What I'm thinking of, but you sat with like a celebrity, and they would give
Pyramid.
Password.
Oh,
Password.
Password.
Password is what I'm thinking of. That or Hollywood Squares.
Oh
It'd
my
be
goodness!
especially the newer versions have been so hilarious.
Yeah,
I do love the Newlywed Game too. When just the use of the word whoopee.
Whoopi.
Whoopee.
Yeah, Bridget just brought that up. When we were on our cruise for our honeymoon, we played the Newlywed Game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, in the club down there, and we had to. It was us. I think there were 3 couples up there, and we all. And for half the thing we had to go. They took us into the bar and all that kind of stuff, and we're just chilling back there with like the directors and all that stuff. And then they send the next group out. I think we did pretty well. It's in my recollection is that we did pretty well.
Do you remember the old MTV? Like singled out.
Singled Out
Was that it? Where
Chris
it was like-
Hardwick, hosted
and,
by Chris Hardwick.
Melissa McCarthy or no, Jennifer McCarthy. Jennifer McCarthy did it for a while, didn't she?
Yes.
Isn't that one where it was like 50 women and it'd be one dude,
Mm-hmm.
and he would just say questions and slowly eliminate them until they were down to who he went on a date with?
What was the date one in the car where it had the pop-ups?
Is that
Blind Date.
Blind Date? Okay, where all the other guys were in the trailer, just sitting there, and then like they made fun of it on Family Guy.
and it wasn't like your friends were in the
Oh
in
no,
the-
then this isn't what I was
Oh,
thinking.
there was one too where you had like an earpiece and your friends could like speak to you
maybe.
in your ear while you were on the date because they were watching it, and they'd like give you like questions to ask.
I don't
things
know.
like that.
Now you want to talk about so that was a very complex application that you brought up before. I would like to know what the "Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader's" application is, because some of those people are really stupid.
Yes. And that's the thing. It's like I feel like they only went for people who scored, poorly on those tests.
to give them more.
Yeah. Although to be honest, as a 5th grade teacher, I don't think a 5th grader could be on that.
Yeah.
But it is a lot of
I
knowledge
mean, the
that
fifth
you
graders
just
sometimes
forget.
got it wrong, but yeah.
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 Let's see.
Next, what was next?
I think next.
Oh, that might have been the one where they're in your ear.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically you got until or something like that. You had to convince the girl or guy or something like that, and until she just killed it.
Oh, do you remember?
Yeah.
Again, I can't remember the name. It was where they would put people in a situation that would get them really angry, and if they exploded, they like lost. But if it'd be like
It sounds
somebody
very
cutting
Japanese.
in somebody like
Sounds
cutting
like
in front of
social
you.
torture.
Yeah, so like cutting in front of you at the supermarket or something, and kind of being a jerk to you. And if you were able to keep your cool for a certain amount of time, they'd be like, "Hey, you're on a game show. Here, you won this money."
Huh.
Maybe it was called "Keep Your Cool," something like that.
MTV Fear. Don't even get me started on Fear. One that I always find hilarious is Silent Library.
I don't know what that is.
I don't remember
It's a more recent MTV or VH1 where you got six friends and you're in a library and they make you do just like stupid stuff or hurt yourself or something like that. But you couldn't. Well, like almost like a Fear Factor type thing where you're not really like hurting yourself, but. And you had to keep your noise to a certain level, and then you would win money. But it was a lot of stuff where it's just like funny stuff happening. So like your friend gets punched, or punch him in the arm, and you're just like, but
Wait, what was MTV Fear? Now I don't know what that is.
that's where they had to stay in haunted places.
That's cool. I would do that.
Oh my god, it scared the crap out of me.
I would do that.
I will say too, I forgot to mention it, one of my favorite reality shows of all time was the Joe Schmo Show.
Oh my gosh.
I have it on DVD. You need to borrow it and watch it. It's basically like a real, like standard. A bunch of people live in a mansion. They compete for immunity and prizes, and they vote somebody out every episode. But only one guy was a real contestant. All the other contestants were actors who were playing like the really exaggerated, stereotypical roles that people have, or characters on these types of shows. And they just mess with him the entire season. And then at the end, of course, they give him the $100,000 he thought he was playing for and all the prizes. It is just because he's like ends up being this like really genuine guy who like is trying to do the right thing the whole show, and the whole show they're just messing with him. It is hilarious.
What is the name of it? Yeah, the greatest. You're right.
King of the Nerds.
King of the Nerds.
That was good.
That was a really good show. And I think it was too
Cliche.
It was very cliche, but it was a little bit too or not enough animated. Like it was so good how they would talk about picking teams and all that stuff, and then the person who was picked last, like who had to go to any team, they would say, "Okay, this is the king of the nerds. You were picked last. You are now in charge of the entire thing." Like it was so good how they pushed that idea that nerd is okay and kind of stuff.
I remember,
but there was no conflicts and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was on a really weird time.
Yeah,
and on TBS.
I think we watched the whole first season and then it kind of fell off the second season. If you want something cool, and you're gonna have to go find this, but if you're a fan of Penny Arcade, which I think a lot of us are, we show a lot of their stuff. They did a show on their YouTube channel called Strip Search. And what it was they had artists come in, a bunch of artists, make webcomics. So, and then they would judge them, and whoever, wins gets eliminated from the house. But they would do it where, like, at the beginning they had to, they would have to, they would play a game or something like that, like describe somebody to the other artist, and they had to draw it, and your team had to do something. But it was so good, they would get to the end, and Mike and Jerry, the two hosts, the two guys who make Wampaslayer, make Penny Arcade, would judge them on what's funny and all that kind of stuff. But they didn't, because it was their YouTube show, and Mike Rahulik is a very passionate guy, he didn't understand the idea that it was a game show. So, like, he comes, and they had two that were really good, and he didn't want to vote somebody off. And they pull him out, and the mic's still on, so he goes, "I don't understand this." And he's like, "You know that we have to do this." So, like, it was just so cool how honest they were. Like, Magic, Wizards of the Coast came and brought them Magic.
Oh, okay.
And they said, "We want you to create a new Chandra visual for our next release." And stuff like that. And I think pretty much all
really
the people
cool.
who were contestants work for around that area or do commission work for Penny Arcade now.
Wow.
And all kinds of places around there. So, yeah, check that one out. That one's a really good one. Something you got to search for. But.
Well, that's actually going to do it for us here on our live show. Thank you guys for participating. Make sure you at the bottom of your video, other than
I don't
this,
have to do as many clicks.
right at the bottom of your video, it should say turn on notifications when we go live. And
only if you're on a PC. If you're on a phone, just hit those three dots.
So yeah, get notified. Tell your friends. Share the video. Share the podcast coming out tomorrow at noon. Or if you're subscribed, maybe later on this evening. We'll see. iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or in your browser tomorrow at noon. Thank you guys for watching. We'll be back next week, same time, same bat channel.
Thanks.
Rest in peace.